January saw mortgage rates remain stable, but experts say they could vary for the rest of the year. That's according to Dan Brown. He is our real estate expert, our realtor with FC Tuckett. He joins us this morning on Daybreak with your monthly real estate rundown. Dan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I am great. So let's dig into things here.
Sure.
Market remains stable, but a couple things driving it.
Well, you know, it's January is a market. The January report always reflects the end of the year business, and the January numbers are always the lowest because they're really talking about what happened in December. Contracts were written in December. They close out in January. So sales were certainly off. They were down 30% market-wide in central Indiana. That's not terribly unusual. The question is, are they going to rebound a little bit? And everybody thinks they certainly will. Prices did drop. And keep in mind, we're following a kind of a crazy market a couple of years back. So this is one of the first months where we've had a substantial price drop, and it was about 3%, almost 4%. Yet, year to date, over the whole year, prices did rise about 5%, which is good news for sellers because they maintained their property values. But the fact that they've moderated a little bit, and we've coupled that with reasonably flat interest rates, which had been escalating, was also good news for buyers because they weren't getting the sticker shock that they saw a couple of years ago.
Well, speaking of buying, how is inventory right now?
You know, the inventory, we use the word inventory just talking about how many houses there are, and we count that a bunch of different ways. It is actually increasing. It's been steadily increasing as we go through the normal acclimation to a new reality. I mean, we've talked about this in this segment before, where the interest rates have really kind of gone up from a historic low. So people are adjusting to that. And those people are also not only buying, they're selling a house. And those buyers, when they sell a house, that's the house you're going to buy. That's the definition of a market. And as they become accustomed to that, they're bringing their house to market. So it is increasing.
Okay, so what is driving the market right now? I always say, not to look down on the industry, but I mean, I say the good Lord is driving the market right now. Unpredictable.
And affordability. This is an interest rate driven market. It has been for a while. Again, as I mentioned, you know, rates went from a historic low during the pandemic years to now adjusting back to what they've historically been, and that's close to 7 in the high 6s. The forecasts we see say they're going to remain that way for at least another year, maybe 2. So there's not going to be any big adjustments. So what has happened, though, is that prices have risen, those interest rates have risen, and with prices rising, so did people's insurance and their property taxes. So the sticker shock of going back into the market and finding out that, hey, you know, that payment's probably twice what we thought we were going to do 5 years ago, and that's a real number, takes a little getting used to. But as I said, people are acclimating to it. So it is driving. People watch the interest rates very closely, even though they don't understand the nuances. That really does drive consumer behavior nowadays, and it's important to sit down with your experts and talk through that process.
Well, it's a good thing we have one handy, Dan Brown. It's always great to have you on the show.
Pleasure, Jeremy.
No problem.